Welcome everybody, and welcome MetaZoo to the land of dead CCGs. So I thought I'd just do a quick reaction video to the announcement that MetaZoo, which is one of the bigger and more celebrity promoted CCGs or TCGs, is officially going out of print after 6 sets. I think the writing's been on the wall with this for a while. I think many people thought this is sort of like a rug pull from the beginning, but the news came out today. This is Monday, the 29th. So officially out of print. So I am not an expert in MetaZoo, but what I think I am pretty good at is out of print games. So what I want to talk about today is what to expect over the next 6 months, over the next 5 years, and the next 10 years for MetaZoo. So I've seen a lot of games go out of print. I have tons of videos talking about these out of print games and the online communities that thrive. So I want to walk people through a little bit of a timeline of what to expect in the next 6 months, or even breaking it down the next 6 weeks. So there's going to be a massive sell-off of MetaZoo stuff. This news is going to hit the market for MetaZoo really hard, and people are going to offload product. So you're going to see whatever demand there was among players that were optimistic about future sets, you're going to see the market flooded with product of people trying to offload. So I don't know. I'm not trying to say if you have MetaZoo stuff, you should offload now. I'm just saying the value of your MetaZoo stuff is going to evaporate over the next couple weeks. I'm sorry to say it. It's going to be rough. And coinciding with this is any excess product that the company has, they're going to offload to wholesalers, places like Hills Games, Potomac distributors, a few other places. This is going to start hitting the wholesale market. So you can buy a sealed product at probably a fraction of what it was costing the consumer even a couple weeks ago. So, players sell off as well as the wholesaler market. This is going to really hit the market pretty hard. This has happened with so many games. As soon as the announcement's out, the company wants to get rid of all their product because they're not going to be selling it anymore, because why would they be selling it? They want to get rid of it and move on to the next thing. Maybe they need a little bit of capital. I guess there's a Hello Kitty lawsuit happening, which is just, it's awesome to be sued by Hello Kitty. That's like one of my favorite kind of lawsuits. So next 6 months are going to be really rough. There's just going to be tons of product flooding the market. There's going to be lots of negative articles, and this video is not at all intended to be negative. I'm actually intrigued to hear what happened and the sort of real story there. So 6 months, bad. The next year to 2 years, typically you see a little bit of a resurgence where people, start. Eventually the market will figure itself out and demand will be lower than it is today, but you're going to see a pickup, in a year or two. This is what happens with these games where people say like, well, I actually kind of miss my cards. Maybe I'll complete the set I never completed, but that usually takes a little bit of a settling period because people are generally upset that the product they've spent thousands, if not more, on is now no longer being printed. They feel like they got tricked. This one feels particularly nefarious because there sounds like there's some misdeeds that sort of happened within the company. So that's 1 to 2 years. You can see a little bit pick up at the market. The longer term view, this is going to join the nostalgia wave in 10 to 15 years. You're going to see an uptick in collecting once again, where people say, remember MetaZoo? Oh, I'm kind of nostalgic to get back into it. Oh, it's such a bummer. It's such a tragedy what happened. This is what happened with the Cypher products with Star Wars CCG, where it went out of print. Everyone was so sad that they lost a license. Massive sell-off in 2001. The next couple years were really rough. Product was really cheap. And then by like the 2010s, 15 years, 20 years later, people look back and say, oh, it's so sad that there's only 6 sets or whatever there was of MetaZoo. I wish there was more. I'm going to get back into playing this again. Maybe there's some online clients that are developed by folks, and you're going to start to see an organic community develop around this and sort of have that supplement. So if you're in it for the long haul, just hold on to your stuff. I think in 2035, there might be a bit of a resurgence in the market and people will be nostalgic, or someone else could pick up the license. Who the heck knows what's going to happen? But right now, it's going to be brutal out there in the sort of MetaZoo market. I hope no one's in over their head with this stuff. You should never, invest more or spend more on cards than you can afford to. But not good news. But I think right now the collectibles market's also tightening a bit. There's new products out. This is what happens. We talk about the life cycle of games on this channel a lot. After 6, 7 sets, games typically reset because the mechanics become too difficult. If they don't reset, they introduce rules to sort of tweak cards or errata stuff. I don't really know how vibrant the gaming community was as far as organized play with MetaZoo, but I think that this is typically an inflection point that happens in a game's life after 3 to 5 years. This happened a little bit on the earlier side, and perhaps there was some accelerants there like COVID or like hype men like Rudy or whatever, but not super surprising news. I think there's going to be a tightening a little bit in the CCG market, TCG market as new products come out. But this is just my take on MetaZoo. Short term, brutal. Midterm, meh. Long term, you might get back your money. So that's all I have for you today, and I'll catch you next time.